Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a recruitment race. Recruitment race 1 of 4 at this point for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. And we decided, well, we're going to broadcast this. It was the producer's idea. And in the production room is Kobe Jordan. And this is Steve Hoppett on the mic tonight, all on my lonesome, because my partner in crime of late, Aidan Schulz, has decided he wants to race tonight. So he's out there having a bit of fun behind the wheel, I believe, of the Flash Graphics Commodore, it might be. But no, it's a Mustang. So there we go. He wasn't sure which car he was going to run, but he's running the Mustang with Flash Graphics up the side. And that is the what Aidan is going to be running tonight, so we might have to throw him under the bus once or twice and get him up for an interview during caution, since that's his favourite thing to do. And we'll see how it goes. But 2 60-lappers tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we take a look at the track facts. 1.5 miles or 2.41 kilometres, and race length will be 2 90-milers or 245 Ks, obviously 2 lots of 60 at 1.5. Fuel capacity is 60% for this because it's their shorter races. And tyres, they have the usual 3 sets, so a starter set and 2 over the wall. 2 tyre changes allowed. 2 GWCs in case we need them, and the incident limits, as usual, or of late, are 12, 5 and 27, which means the first penalty goes out at 12 incidents, and every 5 after that until they hit 27 incidents, which is when iRacing will say, thank you, buddy, for coming. We have a smallish field tonight. We've got about 13 out there at the moment, as the boys are starting to wrap up their warm-up. And, Gary Wellman writes the nose of that thing off pretty badly into the end of the pit bay wall there. And we take another look. He's come flying in way too fast and taken out the water drums. So, stress testing the front of the Mustang and the end of the pit wall is Gary Wellman. So we're clicking over into qualify now. The guys actually have 5 minutes to complete 1 flying lap. And Aidan Schulz out on track at the moment. And we'll take a look at what else is happening around the place in just a minute. We'll see how Aidan goes as he heads off on his out lap. And as I said, 1 flying lap. So the boys will get the out lap, and then as they come across and start the first time lap, that will be the lap that counts. And in V8 Supercars, that's not necessarily as easily said as done. Especially around this track. These things can be a little bit loose, and through turn 4 can get a little bit scary if you get too close to that wall and you don't get the line right. As Aidan gets those wheels right down on that blue line, he wants to be down there as far as possible and then out towards the wall, taking a traditional line. Not being a super speedway, traditional line is pretty much the way to go when you're trying to run the fast lap. With the entire field out there, you'll probably see a few different strategies about the line that the different guys want to take. And Aidan gets across the line there and runs a 30.823. We'll just wait for some of the other times to come in as we take a look at Derek Jacobs. And for anybody watching that's used to watching the series, being a recruitment race, it's not taking the driver car numbers from the league information. So if the drivers actually have the incorrect number in their iRacing configuration, it will display whatever that number is. There is no rule for that tonight. It's a recruitment race, so there will be no penalties for running the incorrect number, which is the case during the season. On the actual championship rounds, the drivers must display the correct number that they chose when they joined the league. And but that's not the case tonight. So we take a look. Adam Malone to the top of the list, with pushing Aidan back to second place, and Adam on a 30.805, 200ths of a second between Adam and Aidan in second. Phil Otto up to third at the moment with a 30.883, so about exactly 600ths of a second, a little over a half a tenth. and that's for Phil, sitting third at the moment. Newcomer to the series, Stafford Marsland, 30.889, and then Michael Ladder, Luke Keamy, Derek Jacobs, Adamson John, who came to the league last week in time for the final round at Talladega, Gary Wellman, Steve McLennan, Adam Ariel, Troy Mortensen, Steve McClintock. Those last three not yet registering a time, so they're not required to. They could be starting at the back of field and just simply wanting to start at the back and work their way forward. As we take a look at what I believe is Phil Otto's car, he's just entering the pits after completing his lap. So he'll actually pull into his pit bay there somewhere, I imagine. And with 1 minute and 28 seconds left on the clock for qualifying, and we, I believe, are going straight to the first race after qualifying. Between the first race and the second race, there is a warm-up period of, I believe, 10 minutes. We will actually have the chance then to speak to the winner of race 1. But that appears to be your grid for the night. It looks like everybody has completed a run that they're going to make a run. So what we'll do before we actually take a look at the grid, we'll take in a quick ad and pay some bills and honour some sponsors. And this is the Everything Simulated Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, also brought to you by Inside Lane Productions. We'll be back in just a minute. Stick around. Welcome back to the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series Recruitment Race 1, brought to you by Everything Simulated and Inside Lane Productions, streaming exclusively on YouTube through Quasi Esports. And we'll take a bit of a look at your grid for tonight as they line up. We've got row 1, Adam Malone off pole, with Aidan Schulz coming out of second spot. And row 2, Phil Otto and Stafford Marsland, the two new guys to the series. And Michael Latter and Luke Keamy off row 3. And we go to row 4, it's Derek Jacobs and Adamson John. Row 5 will be Gary Wellman and Steve McLennan. So that's your top 10. Row 6, Scott McClintock and Troy Mortensen. And rounding out the field, Adam Ariel in 13th position. And those last three not actually bothering to qualify. They're going to start at the back, work their way forward. And with a 13-car field and a 60-lap race, one of two, by the way. So we've got two heat races, one 60 and the second one is 60. And with 13 cars, this could be some fantastic green flag racing here. We'll see how things go. We'll take a look at the weather at some point once we get underway and see what the temperatures are like out there at the moment. But the temperature is set for June the 7th, 2024 at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, realistic weather. So whatever it was in Charlotte on that day at that time, that's what we're getting. And we're looking at air temp of 81 degrees Fahrenheit and a track temp 96 degrees Fahrenheit. So somewhere around 30, low 30s for the track temp. and 96 degrees. Could make it a little bit slippery after a few laps out there, and turn 4 I believe will be the place to watch for anything untoward happening as these guys wear their tyres down, or the heat starts to get some deterioration happening, and the boys actually work their way out a bit wider as they're coming through turn 4 and onto that front tri-oval there. As Adam Malone leads the field away, he'll have control of this. And as I said, 13-car field, so not a huge field, but it's a recruitment race, not a championship round. And there are other things on tonight, so plenty of guys are tied up with more than one or two things tonight, which is unfortunate, but it gets the word out there. And we've already picked up a couple of more people for the league, just in anticipation of this race. As they follow the pace truck around, when the truck pulls off, Adam Malone will take control of the field until Barney the flag marshal gives him the green flag, and that gets waving, and he'll drop the hammer. And expect to see Aidan Schulz go side by side with him tonight. And Aidan hasn't raced for a little while, could be a little bit rusty in the shoulders, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. Since he's been in the commentary box for a while. But there's the truck out of the way. Adam Malone, control of the field as they come through towards the start-finish line, and there we've got the green flag. Barney's waved it, and Adam is absolutely up that for all it's worth. Aidan's gone with him, and the rest of the field also got a fairly decent start out of that. Phil Otto and Stafford Marsland in that second row have gotten a pretty decent start, but Adam Malone to the lead, gone to that outside, and Aidan Schulz sticking with him all the way as they take that traditional line to the outside, and that's where I expect to see the boys run for most of the night. And it would be interesting to see what sort of moves over the next 60 laps that we see. But this is lap 1 of 60 with Adam Malone leading from Aidan Schulz, and then Phil Otto, then Marsland, Ladder, Keamy, Jacobs, Wellman, St John, McLennan, McClintock and Mortensen. And Troy Mortensen, who got a top 5 in Series 1 that finished last week at Talladega, bringing up the tail end of the field at the moment. And he's actually suffering from a pretty bad back at the moment. He's sort of overworked himself, so he says. But what the real reason is, we don't know. He's keeping it to himself. Says it was because he worked hard, but we'll see how we go. So, but good on you anyway, Troy. He's out there. He's having a good shot at it and having a bit of a good time. He's just here for fun. This is a recruitment race. So, yeah, there's no sheep stations for this one. And Adam has dropped into second. Aidan Schulz has actually taken the lead of this one. Phil Otto coming down on the inside line there, pulling up side by side with Aidan Schulz, and he's looking to make his dent on this already, and could end up getting his nose in front and taking the lead of this one as Aidan and Adam hold that outside line. Adam's now moved down towards the inside in front of Stafford Marsland. And lots of action coming on in behind him. We see Adam St John back a few cars there behind Gary Wellman, our championship winner, our champion for Series 1 after the final round last week. So congratulations again to Gary for winning that, the 13 rounds. And Gary actually won 6 out of the 13. So an excellent series for Gary. As the boys get side by side there, Phil Otto actually taking the lead on this one on lap 5, and he's just got himself in front. He's just placed the car very nicely up in front of Aidan Schulz there. The camera angle was a bit deceptive, and it looked like they were a lot closer than they really were, as he opens up about a car length over Aidan Schulz, and Phil Otto now leads this 60-lapper heat 1 of 2 as we continue to circulate here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, thanks to everything simulated inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports streaming live on YouTube. As we take a look out of the back of Phil Otto's car, and that's Aidan Schulz in behind him. Aidan's got a little bit closer to side just to give it a bit of a lift and put some space between he and the back of Phil Otto's vehicle. As we see Aidan now side by side with Phil, and Aidan's going to try and take the lead of this one back Adam Malone wants a piece of this as well, but he's quite happy to sit there behind Phil and Aiden. And Aiden gets his nose into the lead. As he moves up the track, he gets very close with Phil Otto, and Phil moving to the outside there, but gets his nose back in front. So back and forward in the positional changes here between Phil Otto and Aiden Schulz, and Adam Malone in third there at the moment. And we take a look at the rest of the field, and lap 7 going over onto lap 8 of 60, and we've got Otto, Schulz, Malone, Marsland, Ladder, Keamy, Wellman, McLennan, St John, Mortensen, McClintock, and Derek Jacobs dropping back to the rear of field. And as I said, lap 8 of 60, so there's Troy Mortensen running around normally in the 83s in the 23 car tonight. And as I stated, look out for the car numbers, because they are different to what you would have seen the same drivers running in the championship. Steve McClintock there in the 016 car, which I think is the number he normally runs. But Derek Jacobs, for instance, normally runs the 27 on that car and has number 1 on it tonight. If you missed what I stated earlier, it's a recruitment race, not a championship round, and the numbers are not necessarily going to match up with what we normally have, because it's not using the league information. It's using what the drivers have set up in their iRacing profile. So the numbers are not necessarily going to match. No penalty for that tonight, because it's not a championship round. As we continue to watch Phil Otto leading this from Aiden Schulz, Adam Malone, Luke Keamy up into 4th. Stafford Marsland drops back a couple of spots there, sticking to that inside line, drops back a couple of spots and comes under assault from Gary Wellman, our Series 1 champion. And Phil Otto and Aiden Schulz still going at it, just about side by side. And lap 11 of 60 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and again side by side. And if this green flag stuff keeps up, this is going to be a fairly quick race, but it's only 60% fuel load, so these guys will need to pit at some point. So without a caution, we're going to see green flag pit stops. And a field of 13, unless somebody does something very, very ugly, I'd say this is going to go green as we hit lap 11 as they come through the tri-oval and across the line. Aiden and Phil side by side, still battling neck and neck on this, and sitting in behind them is Luke Keamy now in a new livery in the 166 car, which is the number he normally runs in the championship. So we'll be comfortable with that number, and we can tell that's Luke. Number 3 for Adam Malone is also the number he usually runs, and that there actually matches up with what we see him running in the championship. As we continue to see side by side there, Luke Keamy pretty keen to get up the front of this one with Adam Malone in behind him, and Phil and Aiden still side by side, swapping positions back and forward in first and second. But Luke Keamy looking for a way by Phil Otto. He wants to lead this one, obviously. Moves up behind Aiden Schulz, but pretty much runs on the mid-line there as the boys are still running a traditional line side by side through the tri-oval again. And 14 laps down out of 60. We are about to click over 1/4 race distance. So let's actually see how we go with this. Some fantastic racing here at the moment. Still green. It's well, I believe a 13-car field, but I'm showing 12, so I think we might have actually lost one somewhere. But that's fine. Who are we looking at down there as we take a look at the top 10 at the moment? Schulz, Otto, Malone, Keamy, Wellman, Latter, Marsland, McLennan, St John and Mortensen. And it does appear that we've actually lost our 13th car. So I'm just trying to remember who that was, actually, to be honest. Sorry? It was Adam Ariel. Sorry, yes. I don't know what's happened to Adam there. Not quite sure if something happened to him or he's had a technical issue. But, we've lost Adam Ariel. So we're down to a 12-car field for this recruitment race as we publicise the league and get the word out there. Fantastic series it was. We have a summer series starting on November the 10th. which is a 6-round fortnightly series of heat races run all at night. So they'll be under lights at a selection of tracks, starting with Texas and going through to finish at Daytona. And all-night races, 2 60-lappers for each round. And that will take us through until mid-January when we get the Season 1 update from iRacing. And we are hoping to get the Gen 3 cars in time for Series 2, which is due to kick off sometime in February. But we see Phil Otto continuing to run as we look back at the action at the moment, running at the front. And Aidan Schulz has dropped back a couple of spots as Adam Malone and Gary Wellman actually take over the second and third spot, with Phil Otto fighting tooth and nail to hang on to that front spot, and he's absolutely under all sorts of assault from Gary Wellman at the moment, who's moved into the behind him on that low line and pushed Aidan Schulz back another spot. And very interesting move here as Wellman actually holds that low line. And I expect to see him try and take the lead away from Phil Otto, but Phil's not going to just give it up. Gary's actually going to have to fight for it and take it away from him. As Phil continues, we are 3 wide now as we come through turn 1 at Charlotte. It was 3 wide with Malone, Otto and Wellman across the front row. As these boys are still going 2 and 3 wide. Otto continues to push his nose in front there, and he's got a couple of car lengths over Adam Malone, who's in front of Luke Keamy and then Gary Wellman. And as we continue on through, Steve McLennan, Marsland, St John, Latta and Mortensen. With McClintock and Jacobs bringing up the rear of field. We are lap 20 of 60, so we're at 1/3 race distance, and I think we're going to take in a bit of an ad break at the moment, and we'll keep an eye on these guys in the picture-in-picture. But, let's go and pay some bills. Let's say hello to some sponsors who helped to make this possible. We'll be back in just a minute at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series recruitment race number 1 as we go into a run of 4 over the next few weeks. And we are on lap 27 of 60. And Adam Malone back in the lead of this one from Aidan Schulz. Phil Otto and Steve McLennan battling side by side. Gary Wellman's in there as well, right in behind McLennan. And Luke Keamy, Wellman, Marsland, Ladder, McClintock, Mortensen, Derek Jacobs and Adam St. John are bringing up the rear field at the moment this time around. And yes, it's a smaller field. We've lost Adam Ariel already, so down from 13 to 12, but it's only a recruitment race. And if you just joined us, as I've mentioned before, the numbers are not necessarily what you're used to seeing the drivers use during the series, because it's not a championship round, there's no penalty for it, and iRacing is not using the league information, a recruitment race. Just something to fill in some time while we publicise the league and build things up a bit. Good day to a couple of people in the YouTube live chat at the moment. A good friend of ours here and several other leagues is travelling around the country, and I can just picture him sitting back in a comfy fold-up chair at the moment with his caravan set up for the night, and that's Brad Allison. Not sure whereabouts Brad is located at the particular moment, but he's quite happy to sit there, and he's watching and he's commented in there. So good day, Brad. Hope you're well, mate, and hope you're enjoying your travels. And good day to Aaron Dillon, who's also commented in there from Simboys, and he's watching this very intently, and he's also put his opinion across as to why Troy Morton has got a sore back, but we won't go there. We'll leave that alone. And yeah. As we watch the boys continue to battle this one out, and we are on lap 31 of 60. We must be getting pretty close to a green flag pit stop run by now, as the boys have only got a 60% fuel load. So I'm imagining they'll be getting pretty close to wanting to get in there and get at least fill the car up with fuel, find out how their tyres are going, and whether they'll actually need rubber or not, I don't know. But they've got 3 sets over the 60 laps, so tyres are plentiful, fuel not so much. So the boys will need to pit for fuel. There's no two ways around that. They can't make the distance. 60% means that they shouldn't get anywhere near the 60 laps, but we'll find out and see how that goes. But I expect that to happen fairly soon as we take a look at a couple of the new runners there. And we've got Michael Ladder sitting there in the orange car with Luke Keamy. I think that is right in front of him. No, it's... yes, it is, sorry. Luke Keamy in front of Michael Ladder, who's now been passed by Scotty McClintock. And he's in that Mobile 1 016 Commodore, and Troy Mortensen in front of him. As we go back to the front, and we're looking at Adam Malone and Aidan Schulz, but that's Gary Wellman in behind him, as Adam Malone has actually put a bit of distance up the road. You can see he's got a few car lengths of a gap there over second place Aidan Schulz, with Gary Wellman all over the back of Schulze, and he's trying to find a way past. Aidan's making it as difficult as possible. He's saying, if you want this, you've got to fight for it. You've got to earn it. And that's pretty much what Gary's doing at the moment. They're very close now as Aidan just manages to avoid coming into contact with Gary, who moves down to the inside line, drops in behind Gary now. So Aidan back to third place, Gary Wellman up to second. Adam Malone continues to lead this. And one of our earlier leaders, Phil Otto, back to sixth at this point. as we hit lap 35 of 60 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And as I said, this is a recruitment race, round one basically, of this 60 lapper, and we've got two 60 lappers tonight. When this is over, there'll be a 10-minute warm-up, and then we'll move into our second 60 lapper tonight. So some great racing ahead, and Aiden all over the back of Gary Wellman. So we've got Mustang on Mustang there at the moment, and a Mustang leading. And I believe the first Commodore in the line is Steve McLennan in fourth place. So we've got Ford 1, 2, 3 at this point, as the Mustangs are basically dominating this 60 lapper so far, lap 36 of 60. And there's Steve McLennan there in fourth place. And we've got, I believe that's Stafford Marsland in behind him, and Scott McClintock in behind him. So Steve McLennan there. Then Marsland, McClintock, Otto Mortensen, Latta, Keamy, St John and Jacobs bringing up the rear. And the boys know there's it's not life and death out there. There's no championship involved. And they're happy to just be out there and have some good racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The next round comes up in a couple of weeks, and that's at Nashville Super Speedway. And that'll be a two-heat night as well, so 260 lappers for that one. So catch that if you want to get involved in the series when it starts, or even the recruitment races to see how you go. If you've never run a V8 supercar on ovals, you'll need a D 2.0 road licence minimum, and you can actually find the league listed in iRacing if you go into your leagues and search for League 10491, 10491. That's where you'll find the league, and you can throw a request in there, an application to join the league. You can also find us on Facebook at V8, is it Oz Oval V8SC Racing on Facebook, and there's links there to all our other social media and web instances, so such as the website and Discord, as we see Scotty McClintock. McLennan, Steve McLennan. And the boys are all starting to come in now. As I said, there was going to be green flag pit stops, and by lap 40, they've basically pushed their fuel to the limit and really got to get in there and get some more fuel to make this keep happening. As you see, Adam Malone, Steve McLennan, and I believe that's Luke Keamy in the purple and black car, and they've all come in for their fuel, as some of the others have put it off for another lap, as we see Gary Wellman take the lead of this one from Aidan Schulz. And then Scotty McClintock, Marsland, Mortensen, Latta, Otto, Malone, Keamy is in the pits. And then McLennan has just re-entered the track. Phil Otto now comes into the pits to get his fuel. Adam St John and Derek Jacobs also, I believe, yet to pit. They are out there on track at the moment, I believe, as Aidan Schulz now peels off and makes his entry into the pits, so he'll be getting his fuel. Possibly will put tyres on with 20 laps to go and another 2 sets up his sleeve. He's gotten 40 laps out of that first set, as they all have. So they'll probably be throwing fresh rubber on there to get through that last 20 laps. And Aiden working his way down towards his pit bay there. Adam Malone and Luke Keamy already out of the pits and back on track. And with 19 laps to go, Wellman continues to lead this, but he's probably going to need to pit fairly soon as well. He's not pitted as yet, I don't believe, so which means that he'll be getting low on fuel, and I believe that's McClintock and Marsland in behind him. And pretty sure that there we go. That's Stafford Marsland there now, and he's actually come in for his fuel. Scotty McClintock is out on track at the moment, possibly in the pits, as we see Troy Mortensen and Michael Latta. Yep, still getting used to some of the numbers and the liveries on a recruitment race, and he's in for his. Gary Wellman now in the pits as well. I believe he's actually pitted and he's on his way back out, as Steve McClintock leads this one now, and the 016 Mobile 1 Commodore, as he makes his way around to peel off. That's what I thought. He was due to pit, so he'll now actually pit, and that takes care of most of the pit stops that what I can see as I take a look at my live timing, and I take a look to see who actually has not pitted as yet. And I'm just taking a look, and according to this, Scotty McClintock, the only person yet to pit, and he's in there right at this moment. So that takes care of the fuel for the remainder of the race, and I imagine tyres, and that'll get us through the next 18 laps before we complete this 60-lap heat race, then a 10-minute warm-up, and then we go to another 60-lapper. So the format might seem overkill for a field this size, but it's testing for during the championship when we expect to have at least double the amount of cars. So working so far, and pretty happy with it. It's an afternoon race here, but when we actually strike the summer series in November, all 6 races in that series, they're fortnightly rounds, takes us through to January. They are all night races under lights, so should look pretty spectacular. With 16 laps to go, Gary Wellman is in the charge of this one, and Marsland, McLennan, Otto, McClintock, Keamy, Ladder, Schulz, Mortensen, Jacobs, St John, and Adam Malone is 2 laps down. So I believe we might have actually lost Adam Malone somehow along the way. Not quite sure what's happened there, but 3 laps down now. So Adam's pulled the pin on that one, and we'll see what actually happens as the race continues with 15 laps to go. We're 3/4 the way distance on this 60-lap heat race. We're going to take another quick ad break at the moment and shout some sponsors a bit of fame and fortune. So stick around. We'll be returning to Charlotte in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway as we continue this first heat with 11 laps to go of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. And this is our first of 4 recruitment races that will take place over the next few weeks, leading up to our summer series that kicks off on November the 10th. And that will be 6 fortnightly rounds that are all night races under lights, following the same format. So it'll be 2 heat races for each of those rounds, and 6 tracks starting at Texas and going through Charlotte, Kentucky, Daytona, and a couple of others as well that escape me at the moment as we take a look at the action out on track. And we've had 50 green laps as expected at the moment. 10 laps to go. Gary Wellman leads this one from Stafford Marsland. Scott McClintock, Steve McLennan, Phil Otto, Luke Keamy, Michael Ladder, Troy Mortensen, Derek Jacobs, Adam St John, and we've actually had Aidan Schulz and Adam Malone drop back quite a few laps at the moment. So I saw saw Aiden apparently got a penalty, and he's actually dropped 3 laps down. So he may have decided to park it for the remainder of this one and wait for the second heat race, which is another 60 laps. So Cobram, Victoria, what a wonderful spot. That's where Mr. Brad Allison is actually sitting at the moment and watching this broadcast. So good day, mate. Thanks for your good comments. Thanks for your feedback. And great to see that you're enjoying the coverage and hopefully the commentary in such a nice spot at this time of the year. It's hopefully very nice and comfortable down there. It's springtime in Cobram, Victoria, and hopefully it's very comfortable and it's not too chilly for you. But we continue on with the action at the moment, and 7 laps to go. Gary Wellman continues to lead this, a very familiar sight throughout the 13-round series that we've just completed last week. Is Gary Wellman running at the front in the later stages of the race in the closing laps, with Marsland McClintock at this point closing out the podium with only about to click over 6 laps to go. And they cross the line now, so there's our 6 to go. With Gary actually under assault from Stafford Marsland at the moment. He's taken a big bite out of that lead that Gary had. And it will be interesting to see what Stafford can do with this. He's new to the series, and obviously he obviously knows what he's doing in a supercar around at Oval, because he's doing an exceptional job out there to run down Gary Wellman at the moment. But catching Gary Wellman and passing him are not necessarily the same thing. So we'll see how we go as we click over with 5 laps to go. And Wellman continues to lead from Marsland, McClintock and McLennan. And Otto, Latta, Keamy, Mortensen, Jacobs, St John, and then Aiden and Adam sitting in the pits waiting for the second heat at this point. So something may have come up and Adam's had to go and attend to that. He's still in the server, I believe, so it'd be good to see him back for the second 60-lapper. But all green flag racing, and this one's come down to pit stops. And who's prepared to push a little bit harder and get a little bit brave. And Stafford Marsland, he's pushing Gary Wellman along pretty well, but Gary's used to that sort of thing, and Stafford decides to move down to the inside. He's actually going to make a move on this and see if he can actually take the lead. So onto the low line for him, side by side with Gary Wellman, our Series 1 champion. And side by side continues as they come around there to click over 3 laps to go as they cross the line, and a couple of more laps and we'll get that white flag. And it's been some fantastic non-stop green flag racing at this point. And continuing with Gary Wellman back in the lead at the moment, and Stafford Marsland all over the back of him. Steve McClintock a distant 3rd place, but he's happy to probably be where he is as we continue to see them side by side. The number 45 Simboys car, as we've seen so much in season 1, leading this one in the closing stages and looking for a win. But Stafford Marsland looking to spoil the party there for Gary Wellman, and all over the back of him, finding out that it is harder to pass him than it is to catch him as Gary continues to lead this one. Stafford pulls down onto the inside line there, sits about mid-track, decides to jump back up behind Gary for the turn. As they come through, Gary opens up about a 1.5 to 2 car length lead and pushes that out a little bit further as they now take the flag. This is the white flag lap. We are on our final lap, ladies and gentlemen, as Stafford Marsland continues to push Gary Wellman for the top spot on the podium, and he may just stay there unless Gary does something to allow him in, but it's not very often Gary actually lets the door open and allows a competitor through. So Stafford Marsland, he's going to stay in 2nd place. So Gary Wellman looks like he's going to win this one from Stafford Marsland in 2nd, and Scott McClintock in 3rd place in this first heat race. 60-lapper from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Gary Wellman takes victory in this heat race. 10-minute warm-up coming up shortly, and then we'll have a bit of a chat with Mr. Wellman, and we'll go to a quick ad break at the moment. When we come back, we'll speak to our race winner during the warm-up before we go to our second heat race. Back in a moment to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Okay, welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway after our first heat race, 60 laps, and our race winner, Gary Wellman, is actually in the commentary box with us at the moment. G'day, Gary. How'd you see that 60 lapper?
Yeah, g'day boys. Good fun. Yeah, it was good 2x2 racing, and yeah, a bit of strategy. Unlucky for was it Adam there? I think he dropped out or something, but he had the pace.
Yeah, look, went 3 wide there for a while. I think it was yourself and a couple of, I think Phil Otto and Adam Malone actually were running 3 wide there for a while, for a couple of, well, about a lap or something. And behind you, the guys were sort of staggered a bit, almost in a 3 wide configuration as well. So some great green flag racing there. I know it's a smaller field. We only started with 13. We lost Adam Ariel early, but so far, that's 60 laps. Do you like that sprint format, that quick and easy?
Yeah, it's nice to mix it up. Still a good bit of strategy when you get a good green flag run too. You could, sort of work the tyres and fuel. And as it was, I just got to the end. I didn't think I was going to get there. I was actually fuel saving a bit, and I saw Stafford chasing. I thought, oh yeah, I reckon he'll get me here, but he might have been a bit short as well, I think.
Yeah, I noticed you seemed to stay out a lap or two after Aidan Schulz actually came in, and he'd been tailing you pretty close. He obviously wasn't feeling that he had the fuel to continue. Didn't want to risk it, but you stuck it out for an extra lap or two, and it put you in a pretty good position there, because when you came in with the field spread out a fair bit, it didn't really disadvantage you that much with the draft like it normally would in a bigger field.
No, that's it. And that's sometimes the idea. You just save fuel in the first stint if you think it's going to go a long green run, and try and jump the field to get a gap when you come out, because you obviously put less fuel in, less time in the pits, and you can make that bit of a jump and make the field do the work to, claw you back.
All right, great stuff. All right, mate, you want to give a quick shout out to anybody while you got the chance?
This you guys, good fun, bit of fun, in between the seasons. So yeah, cheers for putting it all on, boys, and thanks for everyone to turning up.
No worries. Yeah, one of your teammates is actually sitting in the chat, or a couple of them actually. Kate Donnelly and Aaron Dillon both sitting in the live chat in the YouTube at the moment, and they're sort of having a bit of a chuckle about things and cheering you on, whatever. So yeah, great to see the Sim boys that are not running actually in the live chat and supporting what's actually going on here tonight. So yeah, mate, we'll let you go. I'll pop you back down into your channel so you can get a couple of warm-up laps in before we head off to our second 60 lapper for the night. Thanks, Gary, and congratulations on the win of the first heat.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
So there you go. Gary Wellman, winner of race 1 tonight. We're going into our second race, our second 60 lapper, and our feature race. But they're both 60 laps. The chance was there to have a shorter race and a longer race, but it was easier that way. We still get our 120 laps in, and the boys get used to the sprint format. And as I said, Summer Series coming up on November 10th. iRacing League 10491 if you're interested. Find us on Facebook at Oz Oval V8SC Racing, and that's got links to our Discord, website, all that sort of stuff. You'll find it all on there. We're going to go to a very quick ad break while we're in the middle of warm-up at the moment, and we'll take a look at some sponsors. We'll be back in just a very, very short time at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Recruitment Race number 1 and Heat 2.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, and this is Heat 2, our final race for the night of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Recruitment Race number 1. And there were 2 before we had season 1. This is the first of 4 that we're running over the next few weeks, and they'll take us through to the end of October, with a couple of weeks off in between for things like some little motor race in a town called Bathurst somewhere. We've got the weekend off for that, and we are gridding up at the moment. So what we're going to do is take a look, and what we've got is off the tower, our grid will be as they finished race 1, which is what I expected. So we've got Gary Wellman and Stafford Marsland and Scott McClintock, Steve McLennan, Phil Otto starting out of 5th, Troy Mortensen out of 6th, Michael Ladder out of 7th, Derek Jacobs 8th, Adam St. John 9th, Luke Keamy rounds out the top 10, with Aidan Schulz starting from 11th, Adam Malone starting out of 12th, and Adam Ariel starting out of 13. So we've got the 2 Adams at the tail end of the field. So great to have them back in this race, regardless of what actually took place before. We lost them early before the race finished. Adam Malone late in the race, Adam Ariel early in the race. But we're back to a 13-car field. No newcomers that came into the server during the warm-up. And as we take a look through the field, it is starting to actually get quite late in the day. So the sun's starting to set. 60 laps, we may even end up under lights for this one. So we'll wait and see how that works out. As it's still quite warm out there. It's dropped a few degrees, but track temp 86 degrees, air temp down to 79. So I think we're looking at high 20s, maybe around 30 degrees Celsius if you live in the metric world. Wind is actually coming from the northeast at a little over 4 miles per hour, moving up and down a bit. Sky conditions mostly cloudy, and we are in Concord in South Carolina, I believe, at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and this is the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, through Quasi Esports on YouTube, and the boys are at it again. Gary Wellman in charge of this one as Barney, the flag marshal, is about to wave the flag, and Gary drops the hammer, and he's got Marsland and McClintock off after him, but he's gotten a terrific start, and he's got about 3 car lengths over Marsland there, with McClintock in behind him, and Scotty McClintock just ahead of McLennan, who's actually, we've refreshed our trading paints now, so we can actually see his livery, so that makes him happy in the number 88 car. And Phil Otto in behind him in 4th place in that red Mustang. Troy Mortensen, Aidan Schulz, Adam St. John, and Luke Keamy. And we are down to 9 all of a sudden. We don't know what's actually happened there. The boys have not made the start grid. So we've got 60 laps ahead of us, 58 to go, and we are hoping for the green flag racing we got in the first one. Can Gary Wellman repeat his race 1, heat 1 victory, or is somebody else going to actually take the honours? Gary drops back to about 3rd place. Scotty McClintock down on the inside line there as Phil Otto sits in behind Gary Wellman, looking for a way past him, as you've got Marsland and McLennan up the front. McClintock sitting there on the left-hand side in the Mobile 1 Commodore. Phil Otto gets ahead of him behind Wellman, and that puts it 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And Aidan Schulz, who we're looking out the front of his car in just a moment ago at the back of Phil Otto's Mustang, he's actually on the outside of McClintock and moves down a little bit to take that spot, forces Scotty McClintock back a little bit, as we look back to Adam St. John and Luke Keamy in 9th place. So we've actually dropped a few guys that didn't make the starting grid for some reason, and we're not quite sure what's happened there, but we've got some great racing here at the moment. These boys will entertain, believe me, and they did in the first race, and I believe they will in this one, as Stafford Marsland leads this one from Steve McLennan, and Phil Otto in 3rd place, with the Heat 1 winner, Gary Wellman, who we spoke to during the warm-up, and he's sitting back there in 4th place. So looking at Troy Mortensen in the number 23 car at the moment, sitting in 5th. We're looking at Derek Jacobs, who's one of the guys who is pitted vehicle. So there's something obviously gone wrong there for Derek. He wouldn't normally just pull out. He loves to do his racing, and he loves these cars on ovals. Derek, of course, from the US, and a real NASCAR aficionado, but absolutely has a real soft spot for running the Australian V8 supercars on ovals, which is what this series is all about. If you're interested, search the leagues on iRacing for league identification number 10491 and find us on Facebook at Oz Oval V8SC Racing, and you'll find links to our website and our Discord and everything else you need in there, and all the information goes on the Facebook and the Discord, and there's lots of information and stuff to look at on the website as well, so find your links on there. And you're welcome to either join Discord and request an invite, or you can actually put an application through by looking and searching for the league on iRacing. And lots of racing to come. 3 more of these recruitment races, and you want to get amongst it, that's the way to do it. Before we actually kick off our summer series, and Derek Jacobs rejoins the field, a few laps down, but good to have him back out on track in the number 1 car at the moment. 27 on the side, because that's the number he normally runs. Bred a recruitment race, as I said, during Heat 1. The numbers are probably not always going to be the same because it doesn't use the league information. It's using whatever the drivers have in their profile, so it may not match. No penalties for that tonight, not a championship round, so no harm done there. As the boys continue to get around there, Marsland leads Otto up to 2nd, with McLennan back to 3rd, Schulz in 4th. Aidan usually sitting here in the booth with me, but he's out there having some fun and taking advantage of the fact that he can actually run tonight. And here I am sat all on my own, but that's okay. All the pretzels are for me now. So Gary Wellman in 5th as well, as the field continues to bunch up, and we've got some great pack racing going on under green as we click over lap 10 of 60, 50 laps to go as the boys continue to put in the effort there. This is just great fun. It's just fantastic fun. I don't think anybody's out there playing for sheep stations at the moment. They just want to have a good time and just get some laps under their belt in these cars, because not everybody has actually been running these cars on ovals for any length of time. So some of these guys are coming from a road racing background, whether it be GSRC or V8 Veterans or whatever other V8 supercar leagues there may be on iRacing, and this is a chance to do something a bit different, and it looks like the boys are having a great time out there as they're still all packed up together, as Derek Jacobs continues to move his way around the field, but he's way off the back of this pack, and with 60% fuel load, we saw them get to about lap 40 before they really needed to pit last time in the first heat. So I expect them to last at least that long again. Gary Wellman, an extra couple of laps under his belt before he pitted in Heat 1, and it pretty much paid off for him. He managed to actually hold the lead in that one with a quick fuel pit stop, and I think he got through the whole race on the same set of tyres. But they've got 3 sets. They've got the starter set and 2 sets over the wall, so 2 tyre changes, but 60% fuel, so they do have to pit at some point. It's up to them when they pit, but they've all had to pit in the first heat now. They know how many laps they're going to get out of it, so you may even see the boys pit earlier this time and then make a long run to the end. So it just depends on how they treat their tyres. And at this stage, that's not a consideration. Plenty of fuel on board and plenty of life still in those tyres on lap 13 of 60 as we continue, to see Stafford Marsland leading this one from Steve McLennan and Phil Otto swapping places again. And Aidan Schulz still up inside that top 5 with Gary Wellman holding down 5th on the outside there as Troy Mortensen makes a move on the back of Gary Wellman, and he's got Adamson John on the inside of him. And if we take a look at McClintock, Keamy and Jacobs rounding out your 10. And unfortunately, Derek, 6 laps down. He obviously needed to stop for something. Maybe it was a toilet break. Who knows? But, yep, there he is on track. He's still circulating. He loves to just have a race and get some time under his belt. And it's always appreciated when our American friends can make the rounds and these races, because it is around about 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning over there at the moment, depending on where in the States different people are. And for this one, I'd say right at the moment, it's around about 3 to 3:30 in the morning for Derek. So we really appreciate him making the effort to be here, and he's always only too happy to do it. As the boys get some close stuff happening on track, and we've got 2x2 there at the moment, and then Gary Wellman sitting mid-track with Mortensen just on the outside of him, and then behind him on the inside is Adamson John. But 2x2 at the front there, we've got the McLennan and Marsland side by side as McLennan takes the lead from Stafford Marsland. As we click over lap 16, we are past the quarter mark of this one, and some fantastic green flag racing as it just continues. And we'll just take a quick look at the socials to see who's out there. We go on board and take a look at the suit and helmet, and I believe that is McLennan. I believe with sponsorship from the Gaming Den, and you can see Phil Otto on his inside there in that red Mustang. Side by side, and he's battling him for the lead. So McLennan, Otto and Marsland is your top three at the moment. Marsland in that black number 7 Commodore ahead of Aidan Schulz. And in the socials, good day again to Brad Allison. Good day to Andy. And he's cheering on Troy Mortensen at the moment. Michael Ladder, he's had to drop out, and he's got to go and get some sleep. But he said he's had a whole pile of fun in Heat 1, but he's unable to continue with Heat 2. So that's why we lost Michael Ladder. And also Cade Donnelly, I mentioned earlier, and Aaron Dillon, both from Sim Boys, and they'll be cheering on Gary Wellman at the moment. Yep, Brad Allison looking to get himself a wheel and seeing if he can maybe take part in some of these. But that's something that Brad's going to have to work out for himself while he's on holiday there at the moment. And he loves his racing, but I think he's missing it a bit while he's actually on his travels around Australia. But as I said earlier, Cobram, Victoria is where Brad's located tonight. And just taking a look at some race stats at the moment. And the race length, obviously 60. We're up to lap 18 or 19 now completed with 41 laps remaining. There's been 4 lead changes at the moment and 0 cautions. And hopefully we'll keep that going. So this will be a quick and easy hit out for the boys. And a lot of great racing out there side by side. I know people love to see the wrecks, but it's also fantastic when you get to see some great side by side and pack racing with green flag pit stops. And it just brings a whole new strategy to it when people don't have the advantage of being able to stop during a caution. So we'll see if the boys can keep this going. They went 60 laps green in the first heat, and they've got 39 laps left in this one. And can they do it green all the way? Will the strategies change and somebody actually pits early and does a long run rather than a long run than a 20 lapper after they refuel? It's going to be interesting to see what the boys do. Will somebody actually change their strategy and try and undercut the rest of the field? We'll have to wait and see and find out. But we're up to lap 22 of 60. We're going to take a quick ad break at the moment and honour some sponsorships. We'll be back at Charlotte Motor Speedway in just a moment. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is Heat 2 of 2 in our 260 lappers tonight for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League recruitment race. It's recruitment race 1 of 4 that we've got organised over the next few weeks throughout September and October before we kick into high gear with a summer series in November, kicking off on November 10th. And yeah, you're welcome to search for the league ID 10491. 10491 is our league ID. Search for us in leagues under in iRacing, and you can check us out on Facebook at Oz Oval V8SC Racing. There's a couple of scary moments during the ad break there for Stafford as Mr. Marsland got a little bit loose there a couple of times and seemed to get all out of shape. Managed to keep it away from everybody else, and nobody else contacted him. So some great driving out there tonight, but he's got that back under control, and just all over the back of Phil Otto at the moment as Steve McLennan continues to lead in that Cave-sponsored Mustang. Interesting colour scheme on that one, and the gaming den all over his racing suit and helmet as well. So some great sponsorships being getting some exposure there on these cars, and don't mind giving them a shout out. Aidan Schulz in the Flash Graphics car, one of the GSRC league sponsors, and that's what he's got on his Mustang at the moment. So just keeping an eye on the way things are going in this. We started with 13, ended up with 10. We lost a couple in the first heat as well, but we've again lost Adam Ariel by the looks of it, as well as Adam Malone and Michael Ladder, who had to get some sleep for work tomorrow. What a horrible concept that is. But thanks very much to Michael for making Heat 1. He just wasn't able to stick around for the second race. As we take a look at what I believe is the number 7 car of Stafford Marsland. He's sitting in third place at the moment, with his nose just a little bit back from Phil Otto, who's being credited with second at the moment, but he's just virtually side by side with Steve McLennan. So those boys battling for the positions. In fact, he's battling at the moment for the second spot with Stafford Marsland, who's they're back and forward a fair bit. Our race 1, Heat 1 winner, Gary Wellman, sitting right back in the field there at the moment, and he's actually got Luke Keamy on the outside, and Adam St. John in front of him. They're the Full Bore boys from the Full Bore Racing League, so check those out on iRacing as well, and don't have any information on it, but they can be found on Discord and in iRacing. Check them out as we continue to follow the boys around. Troy Mortensen up towards the front now, just about at the pointy end. He's right in behind Phil Otto right now, and he's sitting in fourth place. Troy actually scored a top 5 in our series that finished last week at Talladega, and he was really stoked to get that top 5 in the series. Barely didn't miss out on a podium by much, but there was just enough points in it to hold him back. So a top 5 finish for Troy Mortensen in the series, and he's doing a great job out there tonight in the second heat. He's really sending a message. He wants a better finishing spot in this one. I think he's after another podium, and which is what he actually scored at Talladega in the race to give him the 5th spot in the championship. So well done to him, and continuing to push on with this one as we watch McLennan continue to lead this from Otto, Marsland, Mortensen, Schulz, Keamy, Wellman, McClintock, St. John and Jacobs. As we continue to watch side by side Otto and McLennan. Phil Otto after the lead of this one, as we are 34 of 60, 26 laps to go, and with this green flag racing, it's certainly disappearing in a hurry. These laps are really flying by, but the boys are up to lap 34, about to click over 35, and that's it now. That's 35, and they are only a few laps away from needing fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see what the boys do as we get a bit of a flicker from Adam St. John there. and flickering in and out a couple of times, but it's sorted itself out. As Otto comes together with McLennan and loses a whole heap of pace, and we've got some contact there, but they're still green, they're still going. And Otto manages to drop all the way back. He loses a heap of momentum and drops to the rear of field. So very close call there for Phil Otto, Steve McLennan, and I believe it was Stafford Marsland that almost actually came in contact as well. So lap 36 of 60, and that's actually seen Troy Mortensen come through that. He's benefited from that majorly, as he is now in the lead of this race, and McLennan comes into the pits, so that's his fuel stop. Whether he changes tyres or not, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But if he takes on a full load of fuel, he could put tyres on in a less period of time. So it would be interesting to see what he does. 37 out of 60, he'll get fuel at least because he's going to need to. Derek Jacobs, I believe that was, back in the pits again. And just looking to see who else is pitting. So here they come now. This is the green flag pit stop we've been waiting for. They're coming a little bit early than they did in Heat 1, a couple of laps earlier. So I think they now know what they can actually get out of a tank and what they can get and do with the tyres. So they've all come in now. But that's Adam St John and Luke Keamy, who are teammates from the Full Bore League, and Full Bore Racing in there together. They'll come out together, and we take a look at Troy Mortensen continue to lead this. He'll have to pit sometime soon. He's got Aidan Schulz all over the back of him, and he's closed the gap right up. Gary Wellman, our Heat 1 winner, he's sitting in third place at the moment. And then we're listing as McClintock, Marsland, Otto, St John, Keamy, McLennan, and Derek Jacobs. And this will probably do Derek a bit of a favour, but he's several laps down at the moment. So Derek's just out there for the sake of having a good time, not too fussed about anything else. As I said, the recruitment race, so no championships on the line here. The boys are there just to have a good time, familiarise themselves with the track and the car. Not everybody has run V8 supercars at ovals, so they're getting used to the concept and enjoying the sprint race format so far. And we are 20 laps to go. We are lap 40 of 60. So we're about to click over 20 to go as McLennan is back out on track now. And we're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be back to Charlotte in just a moment.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Recruitment Race 1 as we take in the second of our 60-lap heat races. And good day in the socials, in the YouTube, to Sarah Kay, McNaughton Motorsports, and Todd Maxfield from Simboys. And he's watching the way Gary Wellman out there, his teammate, is utilising these 60 lappers and working on his strategy and the way he runs these, because that's what's coming up in our summer series commencing November 10th. The 6 fortnightly rounds, all night races under lights at a selection of tracks, commencing with Texas, finishing up at Daytona, and each race is 2 60 lappers. Plenty of information on that on our Facebook and Discord, and you can find us on Facebook at Oz Oval V8SC Racing, and that gives you the links to our website and all the other stuff you need. Discord and everything else is all there. So good day to those people. Thanks for joining us on the broadcast. Hope you're enjoying it. And the boys have all been in and done their necessary stop now. Not a compulsory stop. 60% fuel, which means that they did have to stop at some point, and they were getting around about 40 to 42 laps in Heat 1. So the boys were then aware of what they had to play with, and they've all come in a little early, except for Gary Wellman, who I believe also came in about the same time as he came in last time. So playing pretty much the same strategy as he now leads this from Aidan Schulz, Stafford Marsland, Scott McClintock, Steve McLennan, too many S-Max in there, Phil Otto, Troy Mortensen, Adam St. John, Luke Keamy, and Derek Jacobs. Started off with 13 cars, and not everybody was able to stick around. Michael Ladder, as I said, had to go because he's got work tomorrow, so he had to get some sleep. And a couple of other people had some other things on, so they stuck around for the first heat, weren't able to take the grid on Heat 2. But 12 laps to go on this one, and we've had 2 races that have so far gone all green, with a smaller field. That's to be expected, but some great racing in amongst all this. The field's starting to spread out a bit now because of the green flag pit stops, but about that first 35 to 37 laps was pretty much the boys were racing in a pack. Once the green flag pit stop started, of course, spread the field out a little bit with different people going in at different times, and some going in pairs and stuff like that. So it's what actually happens. If you're not used to V8 supercars on an oval, this is what you get. And they're a little bit skittish. These things are not quite as stable as, say, an Xfinity car, a truck even, or maybe a Gen 7 Cup car. But it makes exciting racing in V8 supercars. Very fast stuff. The grip's probably not there as well as it would be in established NASCARs, but it's an exciting experience, and it's a whole pile of fun. As you can see, these boys are having a great time as we go down to 10 laps to go in our second heat tonight. And Gary Wellman continues to lead, this time from Scott McClintock, then Aidan Schulz back a spot, Stafford Marsland, Phil Otto, Steve McLennan, Troy Mortensen, St. John, Keamy, and Jacobs rounding out the 10 cars we have remaining in the race with 9 laps to go. And some great liveries out there as well. As I mentioned, those new Simboy liveries look fantastic. So kudos to their skin maker, who I think it's either Troy Davidson or Kate Donnelly. I can't remember which. But yeah, the redefined liveries all ready for Series 2 of the Oz Oval Series, which is coming around in early 2025 after we get hopefully get the Gen 3 cars, and that's what we're waiting for. But a summer series in the meantime in these cars, and the boys have been asked to actually have their numbering a la NASCAR, at least on the roof. We don't insist upon it on the side because of some of the sponsorships and stuff, but they've done a fantastic job on the Sim Boys cars. The Mobile 1 car there of Scotty McClintock looks great, and the Flash Graphics car being driven by Aidan Schulz, which is a GSRC League sponsor, so a bit of exposure there for Flash Graphics as we take a look at Scott McClintock in the Mobile 1 Monster Energy car, side by side with Gary Wellman as he takes the lead by getting his nose in front, and Wellman back to second, but they're side by side, and Wellman's going to fight to take this back. The winner in Heat 1, and he wants to repeat the effort here in the second 60 lapper. But fantastic stuff from great racing in that front four, and just looking to see what is the deal at the moment with the rest of the field as they follow through, and Gary Wellman and Scott McClintock still side by side, and Aidan Schulz and Stafford Marsland. Oh, and a big loss of speed there from Scott McClintock. Almost could have been an absolute disaster for Aidan Schulz and Stafford Marsland, but Scotty McClintock drops all the way back to fourth now, just suddenly side by side challenging Wellman and drops back to fourth. Not quite sure what issue he may have had there, but now he charges back down on the low line, and he's going to challenge again. So whatever it was a temporary issue for Scotty McClintock. Now he's challenging Stafford Marsland for third place, and a side-by-side with Aidan Schulz, and back again side-by-side with Gary Wellman, challenging for the lead again as they come very close to one another. And 4 laps to go in this one, and Gary's still fighting to hold on and repeat that race 1 win. But McClintock's got other ideas about it, and once again he's got Marsland in behind him, Gary Wellman, same as he did in the first 60 lapper, and Heat 1 repeat there, and McClintock got other ideas. Scotty McClintock, he wants a piece of this, and he's not actually given up the ghost. Don't know quite what happened there before, but if we go through the entire top 10 now, which is the field that we've got on track, it's Wellman, McClintock, Marsland, Schulz, McLennan, Otto, Mortensen, St John, Keamy and Jacobs, who's down 33 laps at the moment. He's had some issue earlier in the race and had to pit for an extended period. So not quite sure what that was. Could have been answering the call of nature. Could have been anything. We're not really sure. Haven't spoken to Derek about it, so we don't know what happened. But he was in the pits for an extended period of time. And McClintock gets his nose in front, so he's leading that one just from Gary Wellman. But there's Stafford Marsland as they go 3 wide. And Marsland gets in front. Oh, as they come up a little bit too close, McClintock and Marsland almost come together there. And Aidan Schulz sitting right on that outside. And he's just watching what's going on with these 2 black Commodores at the moment. And trying to keep his nose clean and keep out of trouble there. Doesn't want to get involved in that. McClintock back up alongside Wellman again. And Marsland comes back into the picture as he's sitting in behind these 2. And we are on the final lap. This is the white flag lap, so we'll complete our second 60 lapper. Green all the way as Gary Wellman continues to lead from McClintock and Marsland. And they are side by side as they're going to come across the line. And it's going to be Gary Wellman from McClintock and then Marsland in third place. And Aidan Schulz suddenly disappears back to 7th place. Not quite sure what's happened to Aidan there. He's actually on the apron. He's run out of fuel. He's just pushed that just a little bit too far and has actually run out of fuel right before the finish line. Oh, my goodness. That is a disaster for Aidan Schulz. He will be down on himself. There's no 2 ways about it. He's actually tried to run the entire race. Well, I don't know why he would have actually run out of fuel because he pitted. But he's obviously taken a low fuel load to try and increase the speed and get a bit of an edge in the car. Gary Wellman can't even complete his burnout because he's also taken a low fuel load at some point on his stop, and he's now run out of fuel trying to do the winner's burnout. So we're just going to sit here and see if Aidan Schulz can cross the line. I don't think he's got the momentum to make it. This is just hilarious stuff. Sorry, Aidan, but it is funny. He's taken a low fuel load to just get it across the line, and he's sitting fourth, and now he's paying the price because he's fallen just one lap short. Will he manage to roll this across the line? We've got to see this. Will he get it across? I don't think he's got the momentum. He's not going to make it. He's going to miss out by about 2 or 3 car lengths. That's an absolute disaster for Aidan Schulz. What a shame. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be back in a moment. We'll speak to our podium. We'll be back in just a moment.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are returning to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Recruitment Race 1. 260 lappers tonight. Green all the way on both of them. Smaller field, but we expected we expected to go green, and it's exactly what it did. The boys delivered, although there was a couple of close calls there in that second race. And we've got second place with us at the moment, and that is Scott McClintock. G'day, Scotty. Welcome aboard, and congrats on second place in the heat.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, just fantastic racing there tonight. Really close. There was a couple of times I thought I was going to wash up into someone, but yeah, no, just fantastic. Most fun I've had in iRacing for a long, long time.
Mate, got to ask you, towards the end of that second heat there, you were battling side by side with Wellman, and suddenly you've just dropped back at like to fourth or something. Just like you lifted your foot off the pedal. What was the go with that, you know?
I accidentally hit the gear lever and went down into fourth. So yeah, nearly blew her up, but yeah, managed to get back into rhythm. And
yeah, because all of a sudden you fought back out of nowhere as if nothing had happened. So yeah, wasn't quite sure. I figured it must have been some sort of technical issue, so I suppose it was in a way.
It was, yeah. So I got some set up weirdly on me paddles and just happened to flick it with my finger, and I thought, oh no, I'm gone. But yeah, no, the car was really good, really fast. So managed to crawl it back again.
Yeah, the format, buddy. What's your thoughts on the format for the 260 lappers?
I don't mind it. I mean, I've come from sort of the NASCAR background, Weekend Warriors, where we were doing really long races, which I kind of prefer. It brings in more of a strategy, I think. But look, I don't mind the two sprint races either. They're a lot of fun, and I think it keeps the pack together more.
Yeah, it pretty much it does. With the 60% fuel, we're pretty much, especially that second heat race, we had like one big pack for about 37 laps straight before the green flag pit stop started. So that's what broke the field up in the end, was the green flag pit stop. So do you feel we need a few more laps? Because put together that is 120, and so there's... yeah, and with a bigger field, we may even get a couple of cautions, which would drag things out a little bit. Do you think the 60 laps is enough? Well, maybe we go to 70 or something like that?
Yeah, I think between probably 70 and 80 would be just a fair distance. Like I said, it's going to be different with, like you say, bigger fields, cautions involved and whatnot. But I think sort of, the 80 lap mark, I think, would be roughly around decent.
No worries. Yeah, that's great. Look, fantastic stuff tonight. Some great racing. There really was some great racing out there. 260 lappers that both went green all the way through. As I said, a couple of scary moments from a couple of people. Got a little bit loose towards the end there. A couple of little bits of paint swapping without anything really coming of it. So that was a bit of a heart stopper there for a moment. But otherwise, some fantastic side-by-side racing tonight. We saw plenty of 2 and 3 wide stuff. So and on a track like Charlotte, 2 wide is exciting, 3 wide is, oh my God, I can't watch. So, yeah, great stuff, and a great drive from you tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Mainly you, buddy, for keeping this going. I did it like in the original sort of, whoever was running, I can't remember the names, sorry. But,
you mean the Australian Supercar E-Series?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So I sort of ran with that for a while, and then backed off and sort of just started doing the NASCAR stuff. And then when I found that you had kept it going, I jumped back in again. So thanks to you, mate, for keeping it going.
It's not a problem. I can't take all the credit for it, basically because I was looking at running something and I had a different concept in mind. I hadn't even considered really doing this, but then it was mentioned to me that it wasn't happening anymore. And when I looked into it, ASC had actually basically given up and said, no, look, we've done enough and we're out of here. And they were actually a team called Pinnacle, and apparently half that team's actually gone on to other things other than sim racing or iRacing. So there was an opening there. The Sim Boys brought it to my attention, so I put something together, and here we are.
Yeah, no, that good on you for that, mate, and all the guys that help you out in the background. It's been great.
No, look, we've got plenty of sponsors to thank and that, but you want to give a shout out to anybody else in particular? You got sponsors? Anybody you want to thank? Girlfriends? Anybody?
No, look, mate, I race for myself just to have fun. What I've got on the car is just things that mean something to me. So no sponsors really. And congrats to Gary and to the other guys who were on the podium as well.
Yeah, no worries at all. All right, thanks, Scott McClintock. Second place tonight in the second heat race, our second 60-lapper. And we'll move over to the man who's made it a double header tonight, Gary Wellman from Sim Boys. Hello again.
G'day again, Steve. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, buddy. We had a pretty good chat in the warm-up after race one, so probably not a lot to cover other than I'll ask your opinion as well on the heat format. Enough laps? Is the format good? Is it something that you would be happy about running in a series, or?
Yeah, I haven't put much thought into it into a series, but yeah, maybe to mix it up here and there might be good. It's always good to have a bit of variety in it. So no, it was good.
Yeah, well, the plan basically, the summer series is 6 fortnightly rounds, and it's all heat races. The two, well, at this point, 60 lappers. But obviously you've heard what Scott's had to say, and there's some good input there about an extra 10 or 20 laps in it. And if we get bigger fields, of course, that would make it even more worthwhile to have the more laps. But at the same time, 70 laps with, say, 25 cars would be probably a good number. 80 would probably be a nice long race, as long as it doesn't have too many, whoopsies here and there. The summer series is actually 6 races with this format. Looking at using the format in between singular races, so you'll have some in Series 2 when it comes around in January, February. I'm looking at mixing it up a bit, so you'll have a 120 lapper, 260 lappers or 70 lappers, and then a 100 lapper, depending on what the tracks are, things like that. The mile and a half is usually around 120 laps, so if it's 120 straight, that's actually pretty good. But if we're going to split it, yeah, I'd probably agree that we could probably do with another 10 or 20 laps. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's worth a go, because anything I reckon with these to bring a bit of strategy in with fuel runs and tyre wear, and obviously that depends on the track and stuff as well, and the length of the races depends on how big the track is and all that. But I don't know, mate. We're happy to roll with whatever you think's the fair thing, and go with the consensus, because so far, we got no complaints. So you're doing well with it.
All right. Well, thanks very much, mate. Is there anybody else you want to give a shout out to? You got some of your teammates in the live chat at the moment.
They got nothing better to do. I thought they'd be out here, but no, they'll be here probably next week. But yeah, cheers to the Sim Boys, and yeah, well done, Scott and Stafford and Steve and Aidan and all those guys for some good racing tonight. It was Phil as well. He was up there for a bit, and Adam. So yeah, there was some really good racing and clean, and it was good. Yeah, It was fun at the end there. I thought they might have had me, and they were trying different things and runs and stuff, but I found if you just held that high line, you could kind of just get that run out of turn 4, and it was pretty safe. So no, it was a good bit of fun.
One thing I haven't actually asked anybody yet tonight: how was the tyre wear out there?
Yeah, I think I was coming in at about 70% after the first run there. So the tyre wear, they were getting hot, but they weren't getting super worn. You kind of conserve a bit anyway until that first fuel run's done, and then you kind of go for it, when you need to. But tyre wear wasn't too bad.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, well, because with the starter set and then the two other sets, that probably would suit about an 80 lap, a bit more, so that you've got that tyre strategy in there as well, because there's an extra 20 laps or something, and it would probably also require a second fuel stop as well. So that really makes it a bit more strategy based. So yeah, great feedback from the guys that were in there tonight. Congratulations, mate. Well done. Double header, double win for you. It's nice to see the format work, unlike it did during the championship at Las Vegas, where it fell over pretty hard, and we only got one race out of it. But it obviously worked very well tonight, and I've actually got to send some thanks out for some help with making sure that I had that set correctly this time for Mark Johansson from Aussie Outlaws. He actually went over it with me and made sure that I had it set correctly this time, and we worked out the bugs in what happened before at Las Vegas. So fantastic stuff. We can see that the format works. Maybe just a few more laps and make it a little bit more of a strategy-based thing with tyres and fuel. So congratulations again, Gary, and thanks very much, mate. Congratulations to both of you. Also to Stafford Marsland, who wasn't able to join us for a post-race interview, who took third place tonight in the second heat and had a pretty decent run in the first race as well. I think he came second, actually, from memory. But, so that's fantastic stuff. We're just going to drag one more person up and have a quick interview with somebody who poked his nose in the front there tonight. And obviously the person we wanted to talk to has left the service. So we're going to talk to young Troy Mortensen. I'm just going to bring Troy up into the channel. So good day to Troy Mortensen. Just brought you up into the booth there, mate. How was your run tonight? No, looks like Troy's actually gone walkabout. All right, so that will do us from Inside Lane Productions. Everything simulated. And, of course, Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League for our first recruitment race of the end of the year. And we've got 3 more of these, week off next week. And then the following week, we are at Nashville Super Speedway. So week off next week, no racing next Sunday. But then the following week, watch out on our socials, watch out on Discord, watch out on iRacing Australia on Facebook, iRacing Down Under on Facebook. It'll all be posted there. And if you're interested, that's the number to look for. Run a search under leagues for ID 10491 and pop an application through, and you too can join the league. Look for us on Facebook, and the actual address at Facebook is the group, the page name is Oz Oval's V8SC Racing, all different words. And September 22nd, we are at Nashville Super Speedway. Are we sure about that? Okay, well, we'll double check with that. I thought it was the week after, but there you go. We'll take a look at what's going on, and we'll confirm that online and get it all happening. But I thought we had a week off next week, so my mistake if that's the way it is. And look, thanks very much for joining us on the broadcast. Thanks to Kobe Jordan in the production booth for pushing the buttons and give us some great pictures tonight and great coverage. And this is me, Steve Hoppert, on the commentary, signing out, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.